What is up, Prealgebra? This is lesson 90. Our objective is, what are sets in mathematics? Well, a set in mathematics is simply a collection of elements, or really just things. It could be numbers, it could be ordered pairs, it could be shapes, but most of the time what we'll be working with today are just simply numbers, so sets of numbers. But it can be of other things as well. To represent a set, we use braces, but not that kind of braces. We use those kind of braces. And sometimes, so like if we say the set of whole numbers, we can represent it like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, dot, dot, dot. And we use those braces around it. And those dot, 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 we call ellipses, which you know from English class. And that just means that it keeps following the same pattern for forever. So it keeps adding one more to it until it reaches infinity, which is impossible because, anyways. But ellipses can be at the beginning, at the end, or both of them. Alright, so this is an example. It says use a set of numbers to represent all the multiples of 5. So just real quick, I'm going to start writing out the multiples of 5. I know there's 5, 10, 15. It keeps going up that way. But also 0 is a multiple of 5. And if I multiplied -1 times 5, that gives me -5. And also -10, right? So if I want to write this as an ordered, as a set in proper set notation, I'll start -15. And there'll be a dot, dot, dot before that. So I start with braces, dot, 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 -10, -5, 0, 5, 10, 15, dot, dot, dot. Close my braces, and that would be my answer right there. Alright, now in mathematics we like to use what we call kind of a shorthand to represent different things. Versus writing out a bunch of words, we like to use like a little symbol. So it's a little like C with a line in it, kind of looks like an E. This means is an element of. So you could say Mr. Siri is an element of the cool teachers. If you put a slash across it, that means it's not an element of. It's not an element of. So you can say Mr. Siri is not a member of the old farts. Okay. Also, some other common ones that we use are natural numbers, integers, rational numbers, and real numbers, and we use these fancy italicized letters. Whenever I write them by hand, I write them like this, and put a little fancy bar next to it, or like this, or like that, or like that. So that's how I write it by hand. This is how the book represents it there. So example 2 says, use set notation to indicate whether each number is an element of the set of rational numbers. So here we go. 2 is a rational number because a rational number just simply means you can write it as a ratio, and I can write that as like 2/1. So I'm going to say 2 is a member of the rational numbers. 1/2 is kind of obvious, it's a member of the rational numbers. So then I'm going to say 1/2 is a member of the rational numbers. But remember, the square root of 2, I've said about this before, goes on for forever but doesn't repeat. So I'd say the square root of 2 is not a member of the rational numbers. Now, if all the elements of set A are in set B, so think of a set and another set, and if all of them are if all the elements from the first one are in the second one, then we say that that first one, set A, is a subset of B. And we use this cool little looking C thing to represent, or to say, is a subset of. And we also use Venn diagrams. So to say this, A is a subset of B, you can just simply write it like this. See how this is a whole lot shorter than that? See those two? So that's why we use shorthand, because we don't like to write a lot. Alright, we also use Venn diagrams as a way of just representing the relationships between sets, and most of the time we use circles to do that. So here this is the example of set P, and this is the example of set R, and we just say that P is a subset of R, because notice everything in P is also in R. Also, a lot of times we do Venn diagrams like this, right? So the blue is like cool people, the red is like teachers, and the orange, or this purple section in the middle is where I lie. I'm a cool person and a teacher. So this is kind of in both categories there. You get the basic idea. And then we also have things like when we're talking about groups or grouping two sets together, we talk either about the intersection or the union. Well, let's talk about the intersection. If you have the intersection of this blue road and this red road, it's this part right here in the middle. That's on both roads, right? That's the intersection. So if you got hit in the intersection, you got hit, well, on both of those roads at the same time. So in a Venn diagram, this is set A and this is set B. The intersection of A and B is right here, is this purple section. So we could say A intersection B is that purple area right there. Now on the right, the union, think about like the union of two people in marriage, right? It's where everything is mine becomes yours and everything that is yours becomes yours. So it's everything from both groups being combined into one. So it's everything from A, everything from B. So this highlighted area would be A union B. It's kind of a horrible union symbol, but you get the idea. Alright, so here's a couple examples here. It says set A and B are shown below. Find the intersection and the union of them. Alright, so let's first talk about the intersection, one they both have in common. So I'm looking for things that they both have. So notice they both have a 2, and they both have a 4. So if I said A intersection B, that's equal to the set just containing 2 and 4, the one that's in both of them. However, if I wanted to talk about the union, A union B, then I'm going to have all of these items and all of these items in there. But I don't need to repeat them if they show up more than once. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. Because notice here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're all here. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8 are all here. So this is the union of those two sets. Example 6 says use a Venn diagram to illustrate the sets. Find A intersection B. So we're supposed to just use a Venn diagram to show these two, and then we're supposed to find the intersection, the things that both these sets have in common. So let's see here. To draw a Venn diagram of this part here, set B, I'm just going to draw a circle. And that's the natural numbers, which is like 1, 2, 3, etc. Keep going on up from there, all of them. So this is set B, and that's the natural numbers. The set A is just simply the set that contains 1, 2, and 3 in it. So this is set A. So if I want to talk about the intersection of A and B, that would just be the set that contains 1, 2, and 3. Alright, now here for A, let's graph that one. This is this set here. It has 2, 4, and 6 in it. This is set A. Set B, notice it has 1, 3, and 5 in it, so there's no overlap here. 1, 3, and 5. That's set B. So whenever I start looking for things that are in both of them, right, if I was going to be like, okay, A intersection B is equal to, I open my brace there, and I start looking for things. And I've checked all of them, and I realize that there are none. And I realize there just simply is none. So then I'd have to just close my braces with nothing in it. And that seems kind of weird, but actually that's okay. This is what we call the empty set. And you can represent it like that, with braces with nothing inside of it, or you can use it, you can represent it with a circle with a line through it like that, the empty set. So that's why we don't use that for numbers. Some accountants do that to distinguish between zeros and O's, but in mathematics we strictly use that for the empty set, meaning that there is no answer for that. It's a set with nothing in it. And so there's just a quick review right here of symbols we've talked about. We use those braces for talking about sets of stuff. We use this little E symbol, meaning is an element of. We use that to say is a subset of. This one here looks like an N, means the intersection of. The U-shaped one means the union of, and the circle with a line through it means the empty set. Your homework is on page 602. You're going to do the practice set and then 5 more of your choice. Good luck, guys.